Hi Sagittarius, I'm Corinne from Sacred Star Tarot, and this is the message that is meant to reach you right now. So we're going to start with the channeled messages, then have a look at your oracle cards, and then dive deeper into the tarot. So I hope you're doing really well. So this is to ask Spirit for a message that you need to hear right now about your current situation, something that you haven't been able to see, and any guidance. So let's call in Spirit into your reading. We'll call in Spirit, the angels, the archangels, to preside over this reading for Sagittarius, to bring them everything they need to know right at this moment. Okay, let's get started. So Sagittarius, this is a collective reading, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Okay, and the first message I'm getting is playfulness. And I'm seeing the little wrens and the willy wagtails, you know, those small little birds, and they're just jumping and hopping about. And now's the time to be playful in whatever you're creating. So never forget that childlike playfulness. And, you know, life can get really serious. And what I'm being shown is that we don't have to take it seriously. We can do even serious work in a playful attitude with a light-hearted spirit. And it really comes from what they're showing me is like, it comes from an inner decision of going into something with a playful spirit. And I think Sagittarius, you're very much like that by nature. So maybe this is just a reminder to stay in that spirit. If life has weighed you down and things are feeling like heavy and serious, get back into that playfulness and the lightness of life. Lovely. And what that does is it raises your vibration. And they're showing me an image of a rainbow. So it brings, you know, magic, hope, excitement. And so if you're connected to rainbows, that might be a sign. And and then the other message I'm getting is freedom, which is connected to the birds. So maybe this is about setting yourself free, you know, giving yourself the freedom to enjoy life. Again, that's an inner decision that you can make to be more free in your personality, to have more freedom, to not be so constrained by and weighed down by the heaviness of life. Because Spirit wants you to be free and to have that light-hearted spirit. And I see wings, you know, with that freedom. So that's really beautiful, and they're really showing me like it's an inner decision. And maybe it's an inner decision you can make it from moment to moment or day to day. But they're showing me it's like we get so weighed down, we take life so seriously, and we feel so heavy. And we can tune into this light-hearted spirit to raise our frequency or raise your frequency. And bring the vitality, that joy, that childlike spirit into your day. And it's unusual, but what they're saying to me, or Spirit is saying that it's actually a very I can't believe this is coming through. It's a very anti-aging thing to do. Because if you feel childlike, you're actually going to project that in your body. So maybe that's a good alternative to cosmetic surgery and Botox. That's weird. But it's a very strong message coming through. So the more childlike you are, the more rejuvenated you feel and the more rejuvenated you look. Isn't that interesting? And then you have the first oracle is garnet, purification and detoxification. So if you have been thinking, now is the time to clean up your diet, drink more water, your physical body, detoxing, But maybe it's energetic. Do you need to do an energetic detox? Do you need to do a social media detox? Do you need to detox from, the energies, situations, people potentially that are creating drama, heaviness, bringing your frequency and your energy down? Because the very clear message from this whole, from these oracles in the channel is to purify, detoxify, and raise your frequency is crucial right at this point for you. Because everything is created from that, from your energy. So looking at detoxification, your second oracle is the Archangel Haniel with moon cycles. And this is about noticing how your body and your energy responds to moon cycles. And also with manifestation. So the message here from Spirit is that it could be very beneficial for you to start working with the new moon and the full moon, and even with the waxing and the waning moons, getting really in tune with those lunar cycles to create your manifestations in the full moons, to release the things that are blocking you. You could potentially look at the astrology for each of the new moons and the full moons. That might help you to be in harmony and in tune with them. But Spirit's saying that it really affects your energy, and maybe you haven't realized it. And 2, you can capitalize on those moon cycles. Because as within, so without, so you have the essence of the moon within you. And it can help you with your evolution and your growth on the physical, the mental, and the emotional. Lovely. So you might want to have a look at the next moon. Think, if you're watching this at the time, we have the new moon coming up in Gemini. So you could have a look at that as your next moon cycle. Okay, now let's dive deeper into the tarot. Beautiful. So Spirit, can we please have some messages for Sagittarius? The message that they need to receive right now, please. Okay. 9 of Wands, 7 of Cups, 6 of Cups. So this is all about your focus and attention. What you're manifesting. Okay. 10 of Cups. Page of Wands. Okay. Bottom of the deck. The Death card. Okay. It's really interesting. I'm not really feeling that anything needs to die off, so we'll see what comes up for you, Sagittarius, because I'm getting a very light-hearted spirit. I'm not seeing any trouble, difficulty, challenges, but we'll see. The first card you have is the 9 of Wands. Now, the 9 of Wands is the kind of wounded warrior. He's been through all of these battles, and he's gone through all of the battles and is feeling a little bit worn down. So the calling one from this card is to rest where you need to rest. If you've gone through a lot of challenges, they don't even have to be difficulties. They can just be, working at something and you've had to keep overcoming the challenges that come up with a project. And sometimes, we just need to rest. And it might be that you're coming towards the end of the project because it's a number 9. But either way, the message here is saying that, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So if you need to rest, take a pause, tend to your wounds if you're feeling a bit tired, recoup, rejuvenate, so that you can complete whatever you're doing. That would be really good advice. Now, if this is to do with relationships, the other guidance here is In your relationships, the Ten of Wands is all about boundaries. So if you're having any, especially with this card, with purification and detoxification, if there's any relationships in your life that you're feeling that are negative, harmful, or toxic, you don't have to put up with them, Sagittarius. This would be the calling to putting boundaries. We don't always have to cut people completely out and never see them again because, we don't have to always do that. People are imperfect. But it would be the calling to have a boundary, how much time you want or how much involvement you want to have with them in your life. So this is definitely the card of boundaries, especially to, make sure that you're protecting your own energy because, toxic relationships can be very damaging and draining. So that would be the calling to put in some boundaries to protect your energy and take a rest if you need to. If you've been working on a project and you've been going at it for quite a while, this would be the card to just take a pause, have a break, come in and finish it off when you're fresh. Then you have the Seven of Cups. And for me, this is all about your manifestation, and the calling from this card is where you're directing your focus and attention and where the mind's going. Is the mind focused on the fears, the anxieties, the worries, or is your mind focused on the joy, the prosperity, and the things that you want? We can see in this card in the cups that there are, those cups are all full of his fears and anxieties and his hopes and his dreams. Now, what that does is that sends really mixed messages to the universe. So if you're trying to create something, we don't want to be creating with a muddled mind. That's not really going to give us, that's going to give us a whole load of our fears and a whole load of our wants. It's all going to be muddled up. So this would be the time to release any fears, and be really conscious of your thoughts and thinking of the things that are the things that you want to create. We don't want to create our fears. We want to create what we're truly wanting, and that is the calling. And if you do, you'll be very successful because that will be drawn to you. You have then the Six of Cups. Now, the Six of Cups is nostalgia. It's reminiscing about the past. And let's just see what that means for you, Sagittarius. Actually, what I'm getting from that is staying in that childlike energy. It's the same message as before, is you can come into your world and see life with a childlike energy, or you can see it with the heavy burdens. So this is actually saying, it's repeating the same message. So stay in that childlike energy in life, that lighthearted, that innocence, that childlike energy, and I think that'll do you really well. You have the Page of Wands in reverse. So Sagittarius, I feel that you might need a new adventure. If you're feeling the stirs of being bored, that you're on the same old cycle day in and day out and life seems stagnant and boring, now is the time, especially with the astrology and Gemini season, to take a new idea, to go with a new inspiration. And so if you've got a new idea or a new passion, something you're wanting to go for, now would be the time to go for it. Because, we learn so much through trying different things, and it makes life interesting. It keeps you growing, with personal development. And so this would be, it was in reverse. That's telling me that maybe there's an idea that you're sitting on, and the guidance would be to give it a go, to explore, which is very Sagittarius. Perfectly your energy. And if you do, I can see, you've got the Ten of Cups. So now's the time, Sagittarius, to really look at what are those 10 of Cups for you. So the 10 of Cups are all of the things in your life that would make you feel fulfilled, happy, that you have everything that you want. So the 10 of Cups is always calling us to look at, well, what are those cups for you? Because they're going to be individual for everyone. And which of those are missing? Going on a new adventure to find them. Is it friendships? Is it love? Is it a side hustle? Is it an art project? What is it that's missing that would fulfill those 10 of Cups for you? Now's the time to, take some action, to have a new adventure. Maybe you need a holiday, maybe you need to... It feels very much to me like a new adventure, so that you can find more fulfillment in your life, knowing that the 10 of Cups is always available. The other message from this card is to really look at what you've got. It's the card of gratitude. So look at all that you have already, Sagittarius. Sometimes we overlook that and we don't realize, we get caught up in work and the busyness of life. We don't get to appreciate all that we have. And that's the message that I'm getting, is sometimes stepping back and really appreciating all the love, all the support, and all of the cups that are already there is important. Okay, lovely. So let's get some more messages for you. Can we please clarify this reading for Sagittarius? What else do they need to know? Okay. King of Swords. 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, so this is telling me that for some of you it might be learning something. Now would be the time to learn something new skill, new adventure, looking into your options, what's available, what's out there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, at the bottom of the deck is the 5 of Cups. And what I'm getting from that, Sagittarius, if you're feeling that life has become, I think you're feeling that you're ready for something more. You're ready to find more cups, more fulfillment. And this is really saying that, that King of Swords, start using, maybe looking at the skills that you already have, looking at the knowledge, the skills, and seeing where you can use them in a new direction. Because the reading is really pushing you to start something new. So the key could be in the skills that you already have and utilizing them in a different way. 3 of Pentacles is starting a new or learning something new. And then you have the 3 of Wands, and that's looking at your options. And this can also be about having an option in front of you but not seeing the full potential of it. So again, I think if you have an idea, this would be suggesting that it's worthwhile but you're just not seeing the potential of it, and you might just need to gain a few more skills. This could be a short course or learning something new, and definitely looking at using the skills you already have in a new way. And what I'm getting from this is like thinking really outside the box. With AI and the way things are changing at the moment, we have to start thinking outside of the box on ways to make money, to do creative projects. And that's what's really coming through in your reading. And like I said, for some of you, it would be just a new adventure that's not to do with work. But it's bringing newness into life because you have 2 3s. Lovely. Is there any challenge that Sagittarius needs to look at? Okay. Have the King of Cups. King of Cups is your challenge. Interesting. Now let's get a bit more on the King of Cups. Why is that a challenge? Okay. Yeah, I think you're not seeing the potential of something, Sagittarius. If you've had an idea, we don't always know the potential of a new idea. Sometimes we just have to kind of go for it, experiment is what I'm seeing. And now's the fertile time to experiment, we're in the age of Aquarius. So it's innovation, new ideas, stepping out of our comfort zones, doing something different, because we learn so much. One thing leads to another, and that's what Spirit's kind of calling you to, because it would be very prosperous and fulfilling to do that. Great. Very clear. Very, very clear. So purification and detoxify things in your life that lower your frequency, do more of the things that are either working or rising your frequency, doing less of the things that aren't working. Having a look at the moon cycles and start, the guidance is to use that, capitalize on those moon cycles to manifest what you want, particularly around new ideas. And we'll get a fairy message for you. Have inner child. Fairy message, inner child. That has come through so much in your reading, Sagittarius. The fairies of playfulness remind you to make time to embrace the inner child. Playing keeps you young at heart. Do something silly and fun, but still safe. Lovely. So get into that playful spirit. Great. Okay. Lovely, Sagittarius. Well, let's get a spirit animal. Yeah, you have the dragonfly and change. So again, now's the time to try something new. Just keeps coming through. So embrace change and transformation. Stay in the playful spirit. Keep raising your frequency through detoxifying, releasing the things that are causing you to feel low and flat. Do more of the things that are working, that uplift your energy. And that is your message that had to reach you right now. I hope that helps you, Sagittarius. I'm sending you all of my love, light, and blessings. Subscribe to never miss a reading, and I'll see you next time. Bye.